Valley, but once again, temperatures climb into the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the low 60s through the overnight. A mostly sunny sky on Sunday. It looks like we're going to be dry Sunday afternoon. That's almost a guarantee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Football Friday in the Doghouse. And we are flat covered up with football after last night's first round of the NFL draft. So much minutia to get to. Why don't we just break out a guitar and play it? I'm talking about right there. So much reaction to the picks and reaction to the coverage of the draft. 6 quarterbacks taken, 5 in the first 10 picks, but the one that has everyone buzzing is the Falcons taking Michael Penix Jr. with the 8th pick last night. Everyone, including Kirk Cousins, is confused for a number of reasons. Cousins just signed a massive 4-year deal with $90 million guaranteed. So Atlanta is committed to the 35-year-old for at least 2 years, if not 3. So let's say that they need to move on then. Okay. But by the time the 2026 season rolls around, Michael Penix Jr. will be 26 years old. And that's the earliest we'll see him on the field, barring injury. Now, injury is an issue for Cousins because he's coming off of the Achilles heel injury. And even if in year 3 of the Cousins deal, and they decide to, part ways with him going into year 3, it's still going to cost him $10 million to cut him. He's got a no trade clause. Besides, and the other thing is, if you're going all in with Kirk Cousins, you are looking to win now. So why not draft for now? You need to get after the quarterback. And you had your pick of guys, of corners, of edge rushers, of, if you want to go on the other side of the ball, another dynamic wide receiver. Yes, there was a few of them off the board. There was still a lot of meat left on there for wide receivers. The top 2 offensive linemen were gone, so you're not going to go there. Curious pick at best. Beau Morgan from the Falcons radio network and 92.9 The Game in Atlanta was hosting a draft party over there, and he's coming up at the top of the one to help us sort this thing out. So I was going to book this show up with more guests, but there's so much to get to. I just feel like we can handle it with some input from you guys. It just kind of let you guys vent a little bit. Are you fired up? Bears fan. You knew you were getting Caleb Williams, but you get Caleb Williams. And again, it's a 50-50 shot. Maybe at the top, maybe it's a 60-40 shot that he's going to be a dude. But then you get Rome Odunze on top of that. I mean, you get one of the best wide receivers, and you get the guy. If everything pans out for you, Chicago, you might have something finally going on. By the time if they ever end up building that new stadium, which I've got my doubts on, by the way, you might have something going on with these guys. It could happen. So you want to react? You can react to that. You know, everyone is saying that the Penix pick was completely out of left field, and no one on the planet saw this coming. No one saw this coming. Well, I remind you that last week we had this discussion after Jonathan Jones of CBSSports.com rolled out his mock draft, his one and only mock draft. And he had this exact pick in there. And then we had Mike Johnson on the show on Tuesday. And I reported it to Mike Johnson. And I said, well, what do you think? What do you think about the possibility that the Falcons would take Michael Penix at number 8?
There is no way the Falcons are drafting Michael Penix. I think you will see the Falcons draft a quarterback. I think it is going to be round 5, round 6. I think the Jordan Travis, Spencer Rattler, some of those guys on the back end of the draft, I think you'll probably dip your toe in the water and see about getting one of those. I would be, Tom, absolutely floored if Michael Penix was the first-round draft pick. They need corners. They need outside linebackers. They need help in other places. Look, I would be more willing to say that they were going to draft an offensive lineman, even though their tackles and their guards are all under long-term contracts. I would say that would be more likely. So, listen, it's always a guessing game, and you never know where Terry Fontenot's at. But, man, I can tell you I would be dumbfounded if Michael Penix was the pick sitting there at 8.
No way. Floored. Dumbfounded. I need to send it to Mike. I'm just going to send those 3 words. No way. Floored. Dumbfounded. That's a guy that played for the Falcons for 5 years. That's a dude right there. That's an All-American from Alabama. All right, phone lines are open. 256-576-4977 gets you in. You can text the show at 732-9TA-SHOW. 732-982-7469. My X feed is at Tom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. Our Facebook page is at 97.7 ESPN, where you can find a link to our YouTube channel, which is WZZN TV. If you're watching on WZZN TV, you see on today's set a couple of books off of my library here. The GM and War Room. These are 2 books that I have read that deal with the draft, okay? The GM and War Room. So that's why they're up there for full display. Go to 977ESPN.com and get links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get our app. There you can get links to our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. 4 more great channels there on the app. And you're going to need them this weekend. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Also, snag the Talk Radio WZZN app for more great programming. That's a fully different radio station. All right? You can hear Talk Radio at 97.7-2 over the air with a digital radio. Most cars have them now. That is not Zone 2. That is 97.7-2. Okay? Talk Radio is your home for the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long. not Zone 2, unless they're on the Zone, which sometimes we put them on the Zone, on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. They're on our sister station, which is Talk Radio WZZN, okay, which on the dial is 97.7-2. Why you say, dog, why are you saying this? We know this, obviously. Well, because apparently some people have been confused and gone to Zone 2 looking for a Trash Panda game, and they're hearing a UAH baseball game, for example. Or maybe the Crimson Tide baseball game. Or maybe even the Atlanta Braves baseball game. And they're like, we're in a Trash Pandas. They're supposed to be on Zone 2. No, they're not on Zone 2. They're on 97.7-2. Okay? Digital channel. Completely separate. 2. That's a completely different deal. That is Talk Radio WZZN, the home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Crystal clear digital signal, by the way. With the 6 quarterbacks taken last night, many are referencing the famous 1983 draft, where 6 quarterbacks were taken in that draft.
History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
It's time for a history lesson with the big dog, Thom Abraham.
3 of those guys became Hall of Famers. 2 of them were busts, and one had an average career. That was Ken O'Brien. He did an average career. I wouldn't call Ken O'Brien a bust, but he certainly didn't, he wasn't a Hall of Famer. The busts were Todd Blackledge to the Chiefs at 7 and Tony Eason to the Patriots at 15. Now, John Elway was the number 1 overall pick by who? The Baltimore Colts. Yeah, they weren't in Indianapolis yet. The Baltimore Colts picked John Elway number 1. He said he'd never play for the Baltimore Colts. And he reported to the Yankees and was playing in the minors. He had been drafted by the Yankees. And he said, I will play baseball. Until the Colts finally dealt him to Denver for Chris Hinton, who the Broncos had picked at number 4. The Broncos also sent their backup quarterback, Mark Herman, to the Colts and their number 1 pick in the 84 draft. The Broncos were actually trying, or the Colts were actually trying to trade Elway to the 49ers for Joe Montana, who had kind of sucked in 82. They didn't have a good year. They were terrible, the 49ers in 82. I don't know their exact record. I'll put crash research on that. I think they were like 3-13 or something. Some kind of ridiculous deal like that. They were terrible. We're like, we'll give you this kid, John Elway, who is from Stanford right there in San Francisco. We'll give you him, and you give us that Joe Montana. We'll take him off of your hands. He doesn't look like he's going to amount to much. We'll take him. They also tried to trade him to San Diego for Dan Fouts. And Fouts' contract was up. That didn't go down. The Raiders tried to get Elway as well. But they couldn't get the deal done. The Patriots wanted him, but the Colts wouldn't trade him in the division. So it ended up with the Broncos. 3-6 is what they were in 1982. Yeah, that was a strike year. So the 49ers were 3-6. And the Colts said, we'll give you Elway if you give us Montana. They're like, no, we'll stick with Montana, see if this guy pans out at all. Terry Bradshaw, who was still playing for the Steelers at that time, ripped Elway, saying that you can't win with a guy like that. And he should stick to baseball. By the way, Dan Marino was the last of the 6 quarterbacks taken at number 27. And the 28th and final pick in the first round in 83 was Darryl Green by the Redskins, who went on to become maybe the best corner in the history of the NFL. Of course, if you were listening to the guys on ESPN last night, all 6 of these guys are going to the Hall of Fame. Reality is that 4 will probably flame out. All 6 of them are going to the Hall of Fame. Now, cleaning up the trifecta. We had like 8 guys, 8 or 9, something like that. A bunch of guys hit the trifecta. You needed to have the over 5.5 quarterbacks drafted. You needed to have the SEC plus a half a guy. The SEC actually had 11 first-rounders, while the ACC and the Big Ten had 4 each. So they had 8 combined. So the SEC had more than the Big Ten and the ACC combined. And by the way, the conference formerly known as the Pac-12, they had 8 guys picked from their 12-team conference. Twice as many that the 14-team ACC or Big Ten had. Twice as many. Yeah, Pac-12 that nobody wanted. Oh, we can't have a Pac-12. We got to break up the Pac-12. Nobody wants to watch that crap. I don't know when you think about it, but what happened there? The Pac-12 really, I mean, it's some marquee teams. They were playoff contenders. They had good players, good quarterbacks. You got to get them out of there. And Alabama and LSU had 3 selections from the SEC. Georgia had 2. So Georgia plus a half does not win. Alabama wins that. Missouri, Florida, and South Carolina had 1 each. All right, back there in a little glass room with the slanted ceiling. Playing the platters that matter to Stacks of Wax, answering the phones, living large and in charge on a Friday. And I'm sure he's a little bit annoyed. I'm just going to have to sit back and just let it breathe for a moment. It's DJ Pissed Off Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of the show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put the thing together on a stick poly. Brilliant!
I've got $100 smoking in my billfold. I know I ought to save it, but it's burning a hole right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's finally Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and let the good time roll.
Down goes Grissom.
Someone call someone because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
It's like taking poison, like rat poison.
It's not St. Patty's Day, so that's a different day entirely.
Hey, Grizz. Now, I don't know who's going to be more hacked off, Grizz. You, okay, because of the Michael Penix pick, which nobody seems to like, which means Michael Penix will probably end up being the starter. What's going to happen is Kirk Cousins is going to go do the Drew Bledsoe thing and get blown up like in the 10th game of the season. Penix will take over and then lead you to 3 or 4 Super Bowls over the next 12 years and be the greatest quarterback since Tom Brady in the NFL. That's probably what's going to happen since everybody is saying that this is the most horrific pick in the history of picks. Or maybe it is Natty Danny, who had to see J.J. McCarthy picked by the Vikings and now has to have J.J. McCarthy beating his Lions for the next 10 years, twice a year. I don't know who's more upset.
Yeah, no, I'm a little upset, but I do see the future in it. I'm trying to be positive about it as much as I can. Like you said earlier in the show, at the start of the show, is you want to win now, you got to win now. You paid all that money to Kirk Cousins to come in, and I get it. He's not Tom Brady. And I heard earlier this morning they were talking about his 1 playoff win, and it's just, I like Kirk Cousins. I like what they were doing. Yeah,
I'm trying to spin it a little bit.
But the thing is, I see the long term. It's going to be something that I get it. In 2 or 3 years he'll be older, and that's another thing that just keeps going into my mind. And I'm like, what is going on? I mean, Dallas Turner fell all the way to 14th. And if you look at it, I feel like that you could have basically flipped them, or Michael Penix would have gone to Denver or something, or you know what I mean? I feel like Bo Nix never would have gone to Denver. I think there's so many factors in there that went through their head, and Terry Fontenot kept talking about the best available player, kept talking about doing it for the fan base and all this other stuff, and that's not what we wanted. That's not what the fan base wanted. That's not what everyone's like scratching their head and confused.
It doesn't matter what the fan
They're all
base
dumbfounded. I understand that. I understand that. But when you talk about best available, he wasn't really the best available. What you need help on the defensive line. You need help defensively. I mean, any kind of defensive player would have been possibly the best choice that you would have picked.
What was hilarious was the video that surfaced of him, Fontenot, explaining to Walter Blank or to Arthur Blank what they just did.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's like Arthur Blank's looking at him like, wait a minute, didn't I just give a guy $115 million? Didn't I just give somebody $90 million guaranteed? I thought he was our guy. And you're drafting a quarterback? Oh, well, you just can't pass him up.
I mean,
what they said was, I didn't see the best available comment. I'm not saying that it wasn't.
That was the day before. It was the pre-draft conference.
The pre-draft?
They
drafted Michael Penix?
They always do. Like, their YouTube channel always has updates, and they had like a pre-draft press conference with the Atlanta Falcons, and Terry Fontenot was chatting about it.
So Fontenot was talking about Michael Penix before the draft?
not Michael Penix. He was talking about
he's just saying
a player
in general.
I kept saying best available. That's what I meant.
Right. On this particular player, what they said specifically is that if you really like a quarterback, you can't pass on that quarterback. If you really like you have got to take him. And put this on Raheem Morris. I mean, this is Raheem Morris. Love this guy. Here's my question. I'm not sure of the timeline. And, of course, Beau Morgan can help us with this. But did they get Kirk Cousins before they got Raheem Morris? Or did they have Raheem Morris when they got Kirk Cousins? Because it's almost like Raheem Morris is like, I came here. You had already gotten Kirk Cousins, but I like this guy better. I mean, you got to play him. I mean, he's got a guaranteed $90 million contract. I mean, there's no doubt that that's going to happen. The wild card to the whole thing is the fact that the kid is going to be 24 years old next week. And by the kid, I mean Michael Penix Jr. He's going to be 24 next week. How long do you wait? Chris Wanke wants to know, how long do you wait before this kid plays?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's the thing. He was like in college for 6 years.
Yeah, they already had Raheem Morris by the time that they signed Kirk Cousins, and that was
so Raheem Morris must have signed off on that.
Yeah, and the thing is they had the press conference after the draft, and they were talking to Raheem Morris, and someone asked a question. I think it was Thom Pelissero. He asked a question where it was like, did you have any conversation and all this other stuff? And it was like, what was his reaction? And he was like, and Terry's like, that's kind of private. We want to leave that as private. And then, Raheem Morris is like, well, whatever he says is going to be what he says. And then all of a sudden it just kind of got shut down after it got kind of like asked. It was just like, well, his agent was kind of ticked off about the situation. And then they just kind of shut it down and went on to the next question.
There is no way the Falcons are drafting Michael Penix.
Sitting at the mic.
I'm dumbfounded just like him. Did you see his video on Twitter? It was hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those reaction videos. It's just awful.
All right, we got to get a break. Paulie and the Cape will be up first when we return. Stay there. Paulie, anybody else wants to jump on board, this is the good time to do it at 256-576-4977. You want to talk about the moves that were made by your team. You want to talk about guys that didn't get picked. Are you surprised that Terrion Arnold goes before Kool-Aid McKinstry? I know a lot of people were saying that was going to happen. Are you surprised that happened, though, having, if you're an Alabama fan and you watch these two kids play for the last 3 years, does it surprise you at all that Terrion Arnold goes before Kool-Aid McKinstry? Because color me surprised. I'm just going to say that right now. Color me surprised. And thoughts on the presentation of these games as well. All right, we'll come back. Your phone calls are next. By the way, before I go to the break, let me say this, because I need to know. Remember, you either won a spot in a foursome at our charity golf tournament on May 13th or dinner and a baseball game if you were one of the winners. So I have been able to reach out to pretty much all of the winners so far, except for the guys that called in. So I'm going to call you guys out right now. Shane Sean, Crimson Carl, Redneck Romeo, and Phil the Blacksmith. You four. Shane Sean, Crimson Carl, Redneck Romeo, Phil the Blacksmith. I need you guys to call in, and I need you to come on the air because you guys all had the over 5.5 quarterbacks, the SEC and Bama. And I need you guys to let me know if you want the golf or if you want dinner and a game. Okay? because I got to get you on the list. All right? So do that now at 256-576-4977 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandyman. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
306-8158.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Folks, it's Truck Month and more at Woody Anderson Ford. Hey, Bobby White back again with the best selection and best deals on F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Bronco, Edge, Bronco Sport, and the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. Come on in for financing as low as 1.9% for up to 72 months on a 2023 F-150 Crew Cab, and lease payments as low as $375 a month. Put an F-150 in your driveway for $375 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends 4/30/24. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, you can choose from nearly 30 Expeditions with financing as low as 2.9% for 72 months. And talk about freedom, never stop at a gas station again in the all-electric 23 Mach-E with financing as low as 0% for 72 months. Come see us today. It's Truck Month and more at Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at 5. Bingo every Monday night too starting at 7. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Maybe we get an isolated shower across the Tennessee Valley, but it does look like the vast majority of us aren't going to stay dry. We drop into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy sky for your Saturday. A couple of isolated showers across the Tennessee Valley, but once again, temperatures climb into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low 60s through the overnight. A mostly sunny sky on Sunday. It looks like we're going to be dry Sunday afternoon. That's almost a guarantee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I should come up sometime, silly.
Okay, almost everything.
Come up, I'll tell you a fortune.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by Olin Home Appliance Center, featuring the biggest names in home appliance, plus some that you may not know, but offer tremendous value. Their showroom at Lacey Springs is just 8 miles south of the river on 231, and you will find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash and the freezers freeze and see the cookies get baked in their double ovens. And let me just tell you this, Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you. I mean, so you can just see how great the products are. And they got ice machines, making all kinds of ice. They got quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's all the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com. Mike Owen, good friend of the show there, and you can check that out. All right, phone lines are open and phone lines are jammed. You want to get in, you can jump online, though. 256-576-4977 will get you into the show. By the way, Grizz, one other note before I go to the lines. You got Brandon. Brandon was one of the 8 winners of the Draftfecta, and he would like a game and a dinner and a game. So I told him that you'll connect with him and find out what date would work for him. May 22nd, by the way, is the next WZZN night at Toyota Field. So I kind of encourage him maybe think about May 22nd. And those of you that can see, Chris, take the put the 2-shot up, if you will, for a second, or take the skin off just so the people can see that are watching on WZZN TV. You see the 2 books that I am displaying here in front of me today, and that's War Room by Michael Holley, which details Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Kind of goes through the whole process of how they went ahead and drafted and so on. And then that's War Room. And then the other one is the GM. And that was about the Giants and their drafting procedures and so on. So you take a look at that there and you see it there. Oh, look, there's the Owen Home Appliance logo, too, up on the screen. Good job by you, Grizz, getting that up there. All right, let's go to the lines. We start with Paulie in the Cape. Paulie, welcome to the show. How are you?
How you doing, Tom? It's a beautiful thing.
Tremendous.
I can only defend the Falcons because they saw the Jets experiment and then didn't have a really decent backup. If the old guy goes down, well, you got another guy recovering from the same injury that the Jets just went through, and they've seen the way that movie ended. So that's the only reason why I can see.
Yeah, well, if that happens... All right, if that happens and he's ready to go, then it makes sense. It's kind of weird. You draft a guy, and if you're a Falcon fan, you are hoping that that guy does not play for a couple of years, because if he's playing, that means either Kirk Cousins got hurt or Kirk Cousins has sucked. And you don't want that. Yeah. You don't want that at all. What you want is Michael Penix to sit on the sideline for 3 years while Kirk Cousins takes you to the playoffs and makes deep playoff runs, which is unusual because he's never done that ever anywhere.
Yeah. And did I sweep the trifecta?
No, you did not. I forget what your picks were. You did pick Alabama, but you picked the Big Ten and the ACC combined over the SEC.
No, I took the SEC.
Did you take under on the quarterbacks? Because I didn't have you on there as hitting. I'll have to double check.
We'll double check it, but
I'll double check it.
Why would I ever bet against the SEC when I said that what I said was that be careful about the other schools eating it up, and it was the Pac-12 that ended up eating up the thing. Well, either way.
Yeah,
but, I would never bet on Pac-10, But
no, it wasn't Pac-10. It was ACC and Big Ten combined.
That's
what it was.
I would have bet on those two when I'm all pro SEC. Yeah.
All right.
Unless maybe I was misunderstood, but no big.
I'll double check. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only. I laughed a little bit, and then when I realized that he is coming off an injury, and boy, everybody on the late talk radios were like in shock, and then wondering, they needed a big need on this, needed a big need on that. But what's even better was the Raiders going up a notch, picking another tight end.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I love the Raiders getting Brock Bowers. Absolutely love the Raiders getting Brock Bowers.
I understand the love, but it's like, hey, remember this is the team that's out in Las Vegas. They had to have their hockey team win or that place would be out of business. They've gotten lucky and won a Stanley Cup. So, the Raiders,
why would they be out of business? They've sold out every single game they've ever played.
But I'm just saying, they had a stud tight end and they traded him away, and now they, in the first round, got another tight end when they needed something a little more, I would imagine. But hey, that's them. I'm happy with my pick.
I don't know. I think it was a great pick for the Raiders. And I don't think they hate their quarterback either, So I think that was a really, really solid pick for the Raiders.
All right.
I think it's one of the best values. I think it's one of the best values in the entire draft. I think he's one of the surest bets because a lot of these things are not sure bets.
All right.
I like your guy, Chop Robinson. Good guy there for the Dolphins. That's a good defensive end there out of Penn State. I think you got a good one there.
Well, hopefully he feels the need that we lost due to injury and everything else.
All right.
All right.
Good job,
I'll talk to you.
Right.
And no other trifecta, huh?
Nope. Nope. Yeah, we're going straight reaction today. All right, man. Appreciate you. Straight reaction. Jeremy is up next. Jeremy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Man, I am good, Tom. I'm baffled. Like I'm completely baffled. Like the Falcons. Like, okay, so I thought there was scenarios I thought was going to happen. One, I thought the Colts were trading up. I really did think the Colts were going to trade up to go after Marvin Harrison Jr. But the Brock Bowers, great pick. I'm glad. That's a good, solid pick for the Raiders. But the Falcons, I'm just at a loss of words for this pick. Like, it kind of takes you back. Wasn't Kirk Cousins involved in this when he was drafted the first time? Didn't he get drafted at the same time as Robert Griffin III?
Yeah, but he was but he was taken in the fourth round. It was like RG3 was the first pick, and then Kirk Cousins was the picked in round 4, and he was almost like kind of a throw-in pick on a quarterback. Like, let's just take another guy just in case, and the in case happened.
And he's been terrific. I mean, he's been if you compare the two, who you say was a better quarterback, I mean, Cousins is still up there.
Doubt.
RG3 sitting in a chair calling games. So
right. No, RG3 was rookie of the year, and then he got hurt, and that was the end of the career. Basically, for all intents and purposes, he was done after that.
Well, I sent you a couple of pictures through the text, and greatest pictures out there. One is of the Jaguars war room, and
I saw that.
And Tony Khan wearing the neck brace,
selling
what happened Wednesday night on the wrestling show.
Oh, is that okay? I saw
a hard
Shot
sell.
Khan behind him, but I didn't realize that was Tony Khan in front of him. So Tony Khan. So what happened on the show? So on the AEW show or something, that Tony Khan gets a neck slammed or something like that.
Yes. So they had.
The
actor Luke, you remember Luke Perry from 90210?
Yeah.
His son is a professional wrestler now.
Okay.
And so his son came back, and he hits Tony Khan in the stomach. The two other guys that co-own the company that are executive vice presidents with Tony come out and turn on him, flip him upside down, and hit a, tombstone on him, pile driver. And he lays in there. And even on Wednesday night, his father, the owner of the Jaguars, came out on AEW television to check on his son.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the greatest thing. I mean, it's like
that's fantastic. Yeah, and now, what is the story behind the other pitcher? Because I was trying to figure out, was that Brock Bowers' dad?
That's his dad. That's
so why is he not allowed? Why is he not allowed in Vegas?
I have no idea. That's just the joke going around that's the face he made was, oh man, I'm banned from Vegas. This thing, I've done some things in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
What happens in Vegas? what happens in Vegas might not stay in Vegas if they meet your son while he's playing for the Raiders.
Right.
But yeah, man, those were the best. Those were the best two memes out of the first round of the picks. And I'm ready. I got Beaver fever, by the way. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready for some Beaver football.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but okay.
I'd rather watch some Rockets football than that.
I mean, hey, let's talk about what did we talk about last week? I asked you, could Huntsville have a spring football team? And
yes,
and I, because we were talking about, I brought it up about the XFL or UFL coming up,
right?
Expanding and Huntsville maybe getting a team and them playing. We discussed it about them playing at the soccer stadium, and then what happens this week? We get a football team. And it looks like the cities that are involved. That looks like it's.
I don't even know what football. What football team did we get? What are you talking about? What? Some semi-pro? What football team?
We've got a new football team.
You didn't hear about this? They've been talking about it in the morning show.
No, I don't listen to the morning show.
Of course you don't. International Football Alliance.
I got work to do. You know what I mean? I got things to do.
International Football Alliance.
What is the international? Yeah. And so wait a minute. This is confusing now because if I put in Huntsville football, I get Huntsville Football Club, Huntsville City
HCFC.
FC. So now we got a Huntsville Football Club that plays football and a Huntsville Football Club that plays soccer.
Yep, we're going to have they're going to be called the Beavers.
The league is headquartered in Cancun, Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
There's like 6 teams in Mexico, and there's going to be like 6 teams in the United States. Portland
is this going to ever happen? It says they're kicking off.
They're practicing right now, I believe. Like I've been seeing.
Go Beavers!
No, they don't play until next year. They won't be practicing now.
No, they're putting the team together right now.
Well, they don't start playing until next year. The International Football Alliance.
Get ready to do some games, buddy.
Yeah, no.
Get ready to be a Beaver.
That might be a little bit out of the realm. The Alabama Beavers. Oh, they're not even going to be the Huntsville Beavers. The Alabama Beavers shared photos of Wicks Family Field at Joe Davis Stadium, but did not share any information behind the statement, Huntsville, Alabama is where home is. Yeah.
Well, it's got they're posting right now. If you go to Alabama Beavers Facebook page and scroll on it, you'll see they're announcing players: Rashad Nelson, B.J. Smith, then Todd Simmons Jr. that played for the Chicago Bears, and then he also played for, I believe, he played for Wagner College football, and then Calvin Ashley is going to be on the offensive line from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So
yeah,
I mean, it looks like they're putting together the roster now, trying to get everybody put together. But I'm excited just because it's going to be football in Huntsville.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think that's going to be a great. I think that's going to be a great thing. I mean, I think that stadium, Joe Davis Stadium, is a perfect spot to have it. Maybe if it grows, because this is what I've noticed with the teams in the UFL that play at the soccer stadiums. The fans that come out for the soccer games are coming out for those games, for those football.
Well, those
games
are perfect. MLS stadiums are perfect because they're 20 to 25,000 seat, 20 to the 25 to 30,000 seat stadiums. That makes sense. This obviously, Joe Davis being a 6,000 seat stadium is not going to necessarily, that's not USF or UFL size stadium, but it'll be interesting to see if it happens. The Alabama Beavers of the IFA. Okay. Yeah, we'll see.
I'm in. All
right.
Tom.
All right. It's a good job by you.
Yeah, there's one other team, the Tampa Bay Tornadoes. They play at a high school.
Yeah.
So, and one other team that's listed on here that actually has attendance or has a capacity is 1,800.
Yeah.
And that's one of the Mexican teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might be drawing the line right above the Beavers.
Go Beavers.
I might not have beaver fever.
It's a good name. There's a lot of Beavers
Scott
around
Tyson
here.
will be doing the PA at the stadium. I'm not down with the Beavers. I'm just going to go out on a limb right now and say that. Natty Danny is up next. Natty Danny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, I'm doing quite well, but I'm a little disturbed. Hey, Paulie, if you're listening, take off that hard hat. Were you backing up like a bulldozer or something?
Yeah, it sounded like it. Yeah, it sounded like he was backing into something. Yeah.
Hey, guy, when you call the show, get off the heavy machine, me brother.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that said, congratulations to the trifecta winners. Bama screwed me in the end. You know, I had them all right, and then, of course, I took Georgia. But Bama screwed me, so all your winners, congratulations.
By the way, Paulie also took Georgia. So, Paulie, if you're still listening, we went back and listened. You took Georgia to have more first-rounders than Alabama plus a half, and you were wrong because they had 2 and Alabama had 3. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, listen, an individual.
They screwed you with your guy, with your pick, and they screwed you with Terry and Arnold. That was the third guy. Right? You were going, and he goes to Detroit. So you get a great guy there. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is better than Terry and Arnold. I think Terry and Arnold is very much a grabby guy, and he's going to be a flag machine in the NFL unless he can get that fixed. I like McKinstry better.
Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but Sean Shane, he won too, right?
Sean Shane won.
Shane.
Waiting to hear from him. Shane Sean.
Yeah.
Shane Sean was one of the winners. Yeah.
If you hear from him, don't write a check. That's all I got to say. Okay, don't write a check, Sean. Doesn't matter. Don't write a check.
Just won't let it go, will you? You just won't let it go, will you?
Honesty and integrity goes a long way with me. Period. Now, with that said, let's move on. Yeah, how about that draft pick we got? Another piece of the puzzle that's going to make all my gambling coming up a reality in the near future. It is going to reside in Detroit. And speaking of that, it was a record-breaking attendance by fans of all these teams.
How do they determine that, though? I mean, that did not look like 250,000 people. I'm sitting there watching that.
Like 250,000 of Honolulu Blue, baby.
No, it
I
didn't
wouldn't
look
want to
like
stand
no
there,
200.
that's for sure.
You know, first it was 150,000, and then I'm calling Boulder Dash on that. That's the NFL. I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute, it was 150,000. Then all of a sudden they say 250,000. They must have been adding in all the homeless in downtown Detroit. I think they put all the homeless people. They were looking. They saw, hey, what's going on over there? And the homeless people, you can't even tell the homeless people from the regular Detroit people. And they're all coming in there, and they're all trying to get some free food or something. There's no way there was 250,000 people there.
It's called an Obama phone. That was several years ago. But you're telling me these homeless people, they dressed them up in Honolulu Blue?
Well, they have been for the last 40 years. Why
Charger
not now?
fans.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. All right, you got it. I got you. Keep doing the jokes. But you know as well as I do, you're sleeping with one eye open because you know Restore to Roar is coming back, baby. Oh, and I played Southern Gales today. Just want to let you know. Horse is in great shape. And the people are nice in there. They have a nice little area where you can sit down and have a bite to eat now. And a beverage, a bar. It's nice, Tom. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, I got to go check it out. It used to be a goat track, but then it was bought out, and I know they put a lot of work and time and money into it, and they've done a tremendous job getting it into a first-rate golf course. So, yeah, I'd like to go check it out.
Mark has really done a good job.
Yeah, Mark does a good job.
Great job there.
Yeah.
Oh, and before I hang up, a bunch of old guys, two groups ahead of us. I was there with Brad. Anyway, Brad and this one guy comes back talking to his son, Mark's son, says. Yeah. It's one guy pulled a shank out on me or something. There's some kind of he pulled something out. I go, what? I thought it was okay, a shank or a gun. I guess these old people are arguing, Tom. And I looked at them and I'm thinking to myself, these guys can't beat themselves out of a wet paper bag. They do that to me, it's over. 10 times, You're out.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Later, bye.
That's it. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the calls. If we could stay on hold, and we'll get you guys in. It's the Tom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, legendary fun, legendary food.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case.
And we'll take care of it.
The Lackey Law Firm. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping destination for Auburn and Alabama fans. Get your baseball gear, graduation gifts, or cheer on your team with the newest apparel, hats, and accessories for the entire family. Shop the newest collection of top brands like Nike, Adidas, Champion, Columbia, Yeti, New Era, plus 2 for $38 shirts. Sign up for the Alumni Hall Hall Pass rewards and earn $10 for every 150 points accumulated. Come see us at Alumni Hall near Belk in the Bridge Street Town Center. Alumni Hall, where the best fans shop.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Listen weekday afternoons starting at 5 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It's perfect!
Now, welcome back. Tom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. It's a family-owned business serving the entire Tennessee Valley, and they base their business on their customers. They pride themselves in customer service and treating people the way they want to be treated. Valley Equipment services the needs of area contractors and landscapers and homeowners and all you do-it-yourselfers out there. And don't forget, if you rent today after the show, you get it till Monday at 8 o'clock, all for the price of one day. The owner, Ross Roberts, he grew up in the equipment rental industry. He is local, and they got two great locations for you on the North and South Parkway. It's Valley Equipment Rental. Let's get to the lines. Grumpy is up next. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, yeah, Kraft is 81. He's worth $8 billion. I think he wants to get this done. You know, I think the Falcons have been 7-10 the last 3 seasons in a row.
You talking about Blanks? You talking about Arthur Blank?
I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, I don't keep up with it too much. But I wanted to make a comment because of everybody I've been hearing has been, kind of going crazy. I don't know if they're doing that for clicks. Glad to see that Grizz has kept his head on his shoulders. And there's money outside of the system and there's money inside of the system being the NFL. because you can only spend about $250 million a year with the salary cap. So when you work on the confines of the money inside the system, then there's a different value to the talent. So in other words, I can't go in and buy your best cornerback with cash because everybody's got cash in the NFL. Right. It fluctuates, but talent does. I mean, the talent is the demand. So Penix is going to increase in value as time goes on. The smartest move in the whole draft was picking him, in my opinion. I mean, you've already got a 7-10 football season. The last 3 years.
Right, but if you give a quarterback $115 million like they did to Cousins, doesn't that mean that you think you're ready to win right now? Wouldn't you want to help win now?
Don't listen to what people are telling you. $115 million is not a lot of money. Don't believe the hype. That's not a lot of money. You got to stop.
Well, $90 million guaranteed is.
There's 12 quarterbacks in the league. 12 that are making more than $40 million a year. 12. It's a lot of money to me and you, but inside of the system, $100 million. I mean, $40 million a year is not a lot of money. A lot of people are going to choke on that and maybe call the show and say Grumpy's a dummy. Inside of the system,
still $40 million is. I mean, that's a top 12, top 10, top 12 type quarterback. That's a guy.
Let's just say top third.
Yeah,
it's not a lot of money, man. It's not a lot of money. It's the talent that matters. It's the talent that matters. And a cornerback, I know you got to go to a break, but if they want to trade for a cornerback or two in the future, cornerbacks aren't. Man, I'm showing Bland for the Cowboys making $1 million a year. McDuffie for Kansas City making $2 million a year, and those are some of the top cornerbacks in the league.
Because they're still on their rookie deals, though. Thanks for the call, Grumpy. That's a good job by you. Those guys are on their rookie deals. A top corner, it's just more of a sure thing. But I don't think that they got Kirk Cousins and gave him $115 million, $90 million guaranteed, and said that, if he's any good, he's any good. If not, we'll just piss away $100 million. I don't think that's the case. All right, Beau Morgan from the Falcons Radio Network is up next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Count new Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins among those who found the team's selection of QB Michael Penix Jr., 8th overall in the NFL draft last night, a bit of a head-scratcher. His agent told ESPN's Pete Thamel Cousins was only notified by the Falcons while they were on the clock with that pick. He added there's frustration and confusion coming from Cousins' camp because Atlanta did not use its first-round pick to make the team better in 2024. Acknowledgement from 49ers GM John Lynch and Coach Kyle Shanahan that there had been talks with other teams about trading receiver Brandon Ayuk, but no deals came close. Asked if such a deal could still happen, Lynch and Shanahan said it's unlikely, but they did not close the door completely. Niners picked Florida receiver Ricky Pearsall 31st overall last night. Tonight's draft coverage, 6 Eastern here on ESPN Radio, 7 Eastern, ESPN2, ABC, and the NFL Network.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash and the freezers free and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Maybe we get an isolated shower across the Tennessee Valley, but it does look like the vast majority of us aren't going to stay dry. We drop into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy sky for your Saturday. A couple of isolated showers across the Tennessee Valley, but once again, temperatures climb into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low 60s through the overnight. A mostly sunny sky on Sunday. It looks like we're going to be dry Sunday afternoon. That's almost a guarantee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
College football.
The ball is caught. It is a touchdown.
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone. A home run.
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. Guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back, hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you are in Alabama or Tennessee or Florida listening, average home equity is at an all-time high, but so is that average consumer debt. And the rates, yes, they are high now, but you can use your equity to pay off the high consumer debt and your, credit card loans, for example, and then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off the home purchases either, because when rates drop, prices will go up, and you need to buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Learn more. Brian Hammaker and his team standing by. They are local folks and do a tremendous job throughout the Tennessee Valley and really the whole region of the country. It's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Earlier this week, we had Mike Johnson on. Good friend. We worked together. He's a former All-American at Alabama. He played for the Falcons for 5 years. He's now doing radio in Atlanta. And I asked him on Tuesday, what does he think about the thought that the Falcons could draft Michael Penix Jr.?
There is no way the Falcons are drafting Michael Penix. I think you will see the Falcons draft a quarterback. I think it is going to be round 5, round 6. I think the Jordan Travis, Spencer Rattler, some of those guys on the back end of the draft, I think you'll probably dip your toe in the water and see about getting one of those. I would be, Tom, absolutely floored if Michael Penix was the first-round draft pick. They need corners. They need outside linebackers. They need help in other places. Look, I would be more willing to say that they were going to draft an offensive lineman, even though their tackles and their guards are all under long-term contracts. I would say that would be more likely. So, listen, it's always a guessing game, and you never know where Terry Fontenot's at. But, man, I can tell you I would be dumbfounded if Michael Penix was the pick sitting there at 8.
Dumbfounded, floored, no way. I just didn't have the heart to bring him back. So I figured I'd take a step up and go to his boss, Beau Morgan, Falcons Radio 92.9 The Game. Beau, you heard what your partner said there. Thoughts?
I can assure you that he was dumbfounded and floored this morning for the entirety of our show. But I would be lying if I told you, Tom, that he was the only one. I was at Mercedes-Benz last night doing the draft show. working more behind the scenes. I'm glad I didn't have a microphone in front of me, to be honest with you. I did. I just glad it wasn't turned on. Because, Tom, when that announcement was made at Mercedes-Benz last night with the season ticket holders in the house, and it is just the crowd is very lively and everyone is enthusiastic and just almost, I don't know, like this freshness, like this feeling of freshness because you have this optimism and you've signed a franchise quarterback. You went out and got him some weapons, and now you complete the roster building with maybe what the positions that Mike talked about on defense, like an edge rusher or a cornerback, or maybe you trade back and get some more picks. And then it was like someone walked up with a like a needle and pop, and they popped the balloon, and the air went out of the stadium, and they were floored and dumbfounded, much like our friend Mike Johnson was, and and again, we were too on the draft broadcast.
Yeah,
I can tell you that I am a person, and your producer knows this. He follows me on Twitter, and you do too. When the pick was, I'm very defensive of this team. I'm a ride or die. I'm a fan for life. I grew up being a fan. I travel with the team. I talk to the people and understand most of the moves they make. And when the move was made, my Twitter blows up, my text messages blows up, but the Twitter blows up, and I'm getting these tweets like, you better call this out. Don't be the apologist and the homer that you are, and I know I don't even need to listen to you tomorrow because you're just going to defend this, and I'm tired of hearing you defend everything they do. And I'm like, I haven't even said a word yet, Tom, about what I feel, how I feel, my thoughts, nothing. So we get on the air this morning. I'm completely silent for the most part. Just put a meme up, just to kind of get people kind of wondering, the anticipation to build. We are no more a segment into our show, and I am being called a negative fan, a negative host. I don't deserve to be a part of the Falcons radio broadcast because I am not all on board with, and I have never been accused of the things I was accused of this morning, all because I simply said, I don't understand why we did it, when we did it, and it has nothing to do with who we picked. Michael Penix, I think he could be one of the two quarterbacks that we end up talking about at the end of the day. I personally think it's Jaden Daniels and maybe Michael Penix. I think those might be the two in 5 years when the rest are traded like the 21 class is. We're like, hey, those are the guys. Those are the guys. Yeah. But that being said, you don't do it at 8 when you just signed a quarterback to a 2, maybe 3-year deal worth at least $110 million.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that, do you feel, because I find this when I talk to folks that are broadcasters for college teams, even NFL teams and so on. I know I have so many friends in broadcasting, but they can't really speak freely. Here, you're doing a morning show. People are expecting you to either have outrage or to be all in or whatever it is they're expecting you to have. It doesn't matter what you say. You can't be right. But do you feel a certain amount of pressure? Do you feel like you're muzzled at all based on the fact that you are a part of the Falcons radio broadcast team and that maybe you can't give your full feeling about it? Or do you feel like you have free reign to pretty much say how you feel?
No, I feel like I have free reign to say how I feel. I have a process where everything that I feel and say, I research, or I try to come at it from not just the overreaction phase, right? Like I try to process it. And I understand that to me, this was a double down, Tom. You screwed it up in 20. Well, I don't want to say they screwed it up because it turns out they maybe got it right with that quarterback class in 21, that there was only one guy. Now, I think Mac Jones is something that we could talk about later because I think in the right system, like the one Arthur Smith ran, he probably could have been a lot better than what he was once Matt Patricia and Joe Judge got there, considering he was a Pro Bowler under Josh McDaniels, or Josh Daniels, excuse me. But back to your question, no, I don't, because I don't make it personal. Now, if I'd have came on this morning and started calling Terry Fontenot names and Raheem Morris names and Arthur Blank and making accusations that were just false,
right?
Then yeah, I think I would have gotten a call or an email or a text, or my boss would have.
Right.
But they didn't, because I didn't, because I don't. That's not who I am, and I don't think that makes them worthy of being called names. I just think it was a move that you made because you got burned before. And I don't think that was the right move when you tell me that you're in win now mode. And when you tell me you're in win now mode and you have holes, and I'm also not buying into this garbage that everyone wants to spend now. Now, all these fans that are for it suddenly want to spend this garbage that nobody was worth taking on the defense at 8. That's completely
No, that's not
crap,
true. You could add the number one defensive player on the board, whoever you thought that was. I have a tendency to defer to these people because they're kind of professionals at this. You know what I mean? I mean, my gosh, we're not the GM of the team. We're not the owner of the team. I did find it kind of humorous to watch Terry Fontenot trying to explain to Arthur Blank what they just did and why they did it. But, for all we know, Kirk Cousins pulls a Drew Bledsoe and is injured again in the 11th game of the season. Michael Penix comes in and for the next 10 years is the quarterback, of the team and leads them to great things. And I still feel like there are. Look, it's an Achilles injury to a 35-year-old quarterback. You know what I mean? So it's not like 100% this guy's coming in and he's won all these playoff games and everything else. You really don't know 100%. Now, you also don't know about Penix 100%. I also, I'm very cognizant of the fact that the hard part is that you don't want to pull for him to be on the field anytime in the next 2 or 3 years, because that means he's either Cousins got hurt or he sucks, and you don't want that to happen. But if he isn't on the field in the next 2 or 3 years, you're talking about this guy taking his first snaps when he's like 27 years old, which is another factor. It's a perplexing pick. It's not the worst pick in the history of picks. It is a perplexing pick, though. There's no doubt.
No, look. It's not the worst pick in the history of picks, because I think Michael Penix is a hell of a player. I think Michael Penix has got probably, if not the best arm in the draft as far as guys coming out. He's right up there with Drake May, who could throw it through a brick wall. He can make every throw you want accurately. He is extremely good in the pocket, Tom. And since then, and we had Brock Heward on a couple of days ago, who I think you know who Brock Hewitt is, but for your audience, played at University of Washington, does college football games for Fox, works in Seattle at 710, and does their morning show. I think he's qualified. Played with Peyton Manning, so I think he's qualified to talk about a quarterback. And considering he played the position, and he said, "Hey, he's the passer in the history of Washington football." And I said, "Wait a minute, Brock, hold on." I start naming guys, and he goes, "Well, actually, how about you name a few more?" And he's dropped a few more on me, and he goes, "And I still stand by the comment." Dave Archer, who does the radio analyst for the team, him and I were talking, and then we had him on this morning. We had Kalen DeBoer on this morning as well. Alabama head coach, obviously, as your audience knows.
I took crap. We're taking crap for that, by the way, that you got him on and we can't get him on, but yet you guys get him on in Atlanta. And I'm like, he does have a former Alabama All-American sitting next to him. And it is Atlanta. There is a few more people in Atlanta than there is in Huntsville, Alabama. But yeah, I'm brutally aware of the fact that you guys had Kalen DeBoer on this morning, and we haven't had him on yet. Yeah.
I did not mean to rub salt in the wound there, Tom. But we did talk to him about it too. And one of the questions I asked both those guys, Tom, the only reason why I brought it up, and yes, the ultimate trump card is the former All-American and national champion for the program, and a head coach is just taking over. And real quick, not to get off, but I love the fact that Kalen DeBoer is embracing the alumni and not running away like I've seen other coaches that take over big programs after legendary coaches leave and acting like they never coached there and they're the first coach to ever show up there. I really like what he's doing, and that showed that because he's willing to do anything for a guy like come on at text at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and he's on at 8 a.m. the next morning, 7 a.m. your time. Anyways, but I asked, hey, this guy like reinvented himself, and it seemed like he was not that quarterback at Indiana that he was at Washington, and DeBoer, who was with him there, said, well, we asked him to run read option at Indiana. We didn't have the players that we had at Washington. We needed him to use all his physical gifts, which he's very gifted physically, with or without knee surgery, which I guess he's the first person to ever have knee surgery, because now it's a debilitating injury for a human being in their 20s. But anyway, that's what I'm hearing from some, which I don't think is true either. But, they talked about his ability to process, Tom, and to make plays on time. And if you go back and you hear a lot of the things that was said about Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, a lot of the things that was praised about them was their ability to make unscheduled plays, plays that lose contain the pocket, and they're moving out and they're making plays with their feet. But those aren't the plays that win you ball games in the NFL. Yeah, you'll have 1 to 3 or 4 of those in an NFL game. But if you're going to win the NFL, you need to be elite in the pocket, and you need to make plays in the pocket where you sidestep a blitzer coming at you, or maybe a guy that's being blocked, but you have to sidestep around that and then reset and be able to keep your eyes downfield. And that's something that Michael Penix does a good job on. That's why I don't think it's this brutal, awful, worst pick in the history. It's just not the pick your team needed to make in 2024 after 6 straight seasons of missing the playoffs, after 3 straight 7-10, after you signed the best veteran quarterback on the market for $110 million over basically 3 years. Now there's a 2-year out, to your point. It's just like, that's not where you were as a team. That is a move.
Yeah, if you're all in, help the guy now. If you're all in, you do something, and that's what you told me. You're all in by getting Cousins. You said you're all in, so now do something to help now. And this is really not a now thing. Yeah.
Not a now thing. You can't do this move unless you're in Kansas City, where they're coming off playoff run. They know they got 1 year more of Alex Smith. Or Aaron Rodgers. You don't know what he is anymore. There's questions about his love of the game, and you're coming off a 13-3 season NFC title game. That's the move that team makes. That's not the move that this team makes. And win now mode doesn't mean draft and stash. This reminds me of like an NBA move where they sign some European guy that you've maybe heard of during the draft show, and you're like, hey, we're gonna draft and stash him in overseas for 3 years, and we're gonna break the glass and bring him out. And I hate to compare Michael Penix to that kind of situation, but that's what it feels like. That's the frustrating part. So this isn't a team that is, now fans are saying, well, go get Trey Hendrickson. I'm like, with what? Gonna have to restructure some contracts to sign the draft class. See, that's the problem for me, Tom. You spent money on offense when you had to help him, when you had defensive needs you needed to help him with as well. And you didn't do that. And so that's where, I know you got the draft left, but Byron Murphy might be the best player in the draft overall. And he's a 3 technique, which you're running a 3-4 now, which just keeps putting emphasis on, which I think it's dumb because you run hybrids anyways. But Byron Murphy is a guy that can play that 3 technique, Tom, and slide out and kind of do some edge rushing. He can also rush from interior. Now, still got guys like Johnny Newton, who was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. That's a really good player. Maybe he's there. It just reeked of a move that a team is established that makes, and that's not what we are. Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris don't get this right and start and make playoffs in one of the next 2 seasons. He just drafted a player for the next GM. Yeah, it's absolutely right. All right, excellent stuff as always. Beau Morgan has been our guest. Should I've got to send it to Mike. I'm wondering if I should copy you in and send you just dumbfounded, floored, and no way. And I'm just going to cut that whole thing down to just dumbfounded, floored, and no way. And there you go. That's what. By the way, Mike is 2 for 2 because last year he said that there was no way that they would draft a running back, right? So, Mike is future as a GM might be a little bit sketchy right now. Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to call Mike any day of the week to break down a game and maybe some offensive line play. And, hey, what are you seeing here? I'm not sure this time next year if I'm going to take his mock draft seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be like, no way. Yeah. As soon as he says no way, that means it's done deal.
Yeah, you've got to send that with me because you got to tag me on that too because I will.
Right.
I will make sure it is used against him every opportunity.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, there is no doubt that from now going forward, every time I have him on the show,
there is no way the Falcons are drafting Michael Penix.
Yeah, no way. And he laughs at the end. You see at the end he drops.
There is no way the Falcons are drafting Michael Penix.
And he laughs. He chuckles a little bit, like I'm an idiot because I brought it up, right? So I'm the idiot. And by the way, the reason I brought it up. Not for nothing. There's a dude by the name of Jonathan Jones from CBSSports.com that rolled out his one and only mock draft last week, and he nailed it. In fact, he nailed the entire top 10. I mean, it's uncanny. Wow. And he had that thing on there, and I've got it. The Penix thing, and I don't know how much of it was. It's the title was Falcons select Kirk Cousins' eventual replacement. Then he said 5 quarterbacks go in the first round, so he missed on one there. And what he said was the Washington QB has been rising lately, and I believe he'll be drafted in the first dozen picks no matter what happens next week. The Falcons paid a lot of money to 36-year-old quarterback coming off Achilles in a deal that they can get out of in 2 years if they must. So boom, that's what he said.
Yeah,
and he nailed it.
That's crazy. The only other person I heard even mention it was Brian Baldinger, and he said it on our midday show maybe a couple weeks ago. That's absolutely crazy. And Tom, real quick, I know you're busy.
Yeah,
you got to go. The thing I'll tell you is that the draft is about runs on position, and when the quarterbacks you knew were going to go, the receivers were next, but the offensive line run really surprised me, and I think. That is why this narrative out there that no defensive player was worth taking in the top. See what people don't get is that when all these offensive linemen start going like J.C. Latham at 6, no one had, or 7, no one had that.
Right.
No one had that because it all started with Joe Alt going off to the Chargers.
Yeah, because no one had that. Yeah.
And I mean. They're like 4 or 5. I think the first 18 were offensive linemen, something like that. But when those runs happen, people now start overdrafting guys because it's a need, and they had that position ranked high, and so guys will move up. And that's because then the Vikings saw the run start on defensive players, and they said, "Hey, we want to get Dallas Turner," and that's why they moved up to get Dallas Turner. So it is a lot of it is dictated. The moves that are made are by runs. That's not why the Falcons did what they did. I don't think. I think they thought that was probably going to be there always, but it was either get the right asking price or draft the guy, and they drafted him because they didn't get the right asking price. But that's why these things happen. So when people tell you when no defensive player was, and I know you know this, but people were, no one was worth taking aside. It's not true. No, you could have taken any of those defensive players in the top 10 and been fine. No one would have complained. But the fact that all these offensive linemen are going to the board, guys had to get theirs because now the guy they thought would be in the second round might be taken at the end of the first. And that changes your strategy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, always a pleasure. Great stuff. Beau Morgan has been our guest. Beau, we appreciate you, man.
Anytime, Tom. I appreciate y'all.
All right, we're going to get a break in here. When we come back, we've done nothing but draft. We do have a hockey team that is now one game away from winning their 4th President's Cup championship after a sold-out crowd last night saw the Havoc bang in 2 in the third period to win 3-2. And now they head to Peoria. A win on Saturday or Sunday, if necessary, gives the boys their 4th President's Cup in 20 years. We will have those games for you as well here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. And how about Joel Embiid dropping 50 last night on the Knicks in 2 vicious cheap shots? He does not get tossed out of the game, which he should have been. And now it's a war. Now WrestleMania breaks out. Now the rest of that series, I mean, that series has been physical as it is. You might as well pave the court and put up the chain nets because now it's going to be street ball. It's like no blood, no foul. All right, we'll come back. Your phone calls, the phone lines are open now the rest of the way. You want to jump on board, you can do it. Randy, if you're still there, you're first. I'll let you Lynch is up as well. You can jump in behind those guys. It's the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, we love baseball almost as much as we love serving up the best and baddest burgers around. People have called our burgers totally insane. And at Bad Daddy's, we take that as a compliment. But it's not just burgers. Up first, starters like our fried pickles, wings, or poblano frites. Second, try one of Bad Daddy's giant chopped salads. Third, our famous chef-inspired burgers with lots of different taste options. And before you head home, finish up with one of our shakes or delicious banana pudding. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and Clift Farm in Madison. 97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Thom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere. Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Maybe we get an isolated shower across the Tennessee Valley, but it does look like the vast majority of us aren't going to stay dry. We drop into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy sky for your Saturday. A couple of isolated showers across the Tennessee Valley, but once again, temperatures climb into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low 60s through the overnight. A mostly sunny sky on Sunday. It looks like we're going to be dry Sunday afternoon. That's almost a guarantee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the GBank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
NBA playoffs tonight, 3 games on the schedule. The Suns looking to claw back into their series down in a 2-0 hole against Minnesota. The series shifts to Phoenix tonight. The Suns favored by 4.5, over under 207.5. Minnesota plus 150. The Pacers are favored by 5.5 at home tonight against Milwaukee. The series tied at 1 each, over under 221.5. Milwaukee plus 190. The plus 160 Clippers are the 4.5-point underdog at Dallas in Game 3. That series is tied at 1-1. The Celtics remain the betting favorite to win the championship at plus 120. Defending champion Denver plus 240. Oak City plus 1,400. Minnesota plus 1,500 to win it all. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
Man, I appreciate what you guys do. I know credit got Drew, Talkin' Ball 7 until 9 on my show when I feature Drew, and certainly have a great relationship with Wes and Steve and Thom and all you guys, man. It's always fun to hang out with you with media days, different bowl events, but I always appreciate the partnership. I almost feel like we're sister stations with 97.7 The Zone, the only sports station in the Rockets, and thank you so much.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 The Zone.
Football is a rough game and often a cruel one.
Every time you lose, you die a little bit. You die inside, a portion of you. Not all of your organs, maybe just your liver.
Pain is inevitable.
They're killing me, Whitey. They're killing me.
There was only the painful face of failure.
Okay, fellas? Hey, fellas, this is what you work all off season for. This is why you lift all them weights. This is why you do all that.
There was a fighting heart under the ribs of defeat.
Never give up, baby. Never give up.
This segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. Thousands of area residents have received world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. TOC services the Huntsville Havoc, the Alabama A&M, and most of the high schools really in the region, with 13 locations throughout the Tennessee Valley. If you have an orthopedic problem and are considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sidelined playing the sport you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, and the best facility to get you back in the game. We think you'll agree that that's the Orthopedic Center, and that the Orthopedic Center is right for you. Stay in a game with TOC. All right, phone lines are open the rest of the show, 256-5764-97.7. We go to the lines with LSU Lynch. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
Son, look here, I'm still celebrating the ugly win from last night. You hear me?
Well, ugly how? I mean, you get the 2 goals in the third period to win the game. I mean, that's pretty sexy.
Well, let me tell you. Okay, we go. Okay, we go. We love the Havoc. They played like garbage. Okay, they played like garbage. And let's remind everyone. Let's not. Yes, they did come on, but look here. The reason that the other team scored was we was a man down each time. Mm-hmm. But now I'm going to kick it up a notch, Tom. Havoc, you suck, because we were 5-on-3 last night, and you looked like garbage.
They're a game away from winning the President's Cup championship, and you're calling it and busted on them.
Look here, we 5-on-3, and we look here. We've been hot. We've been scoring the goals and everything. You can't tell me that we're not good. I mean, we are better than Peoria. Our team is way better. Okay, way better.
Well, and Peoria didn't suck this season, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sorry, dude. If we're Havoc, there's no reason not to score at least 1 goal when we're 5-on-3. Anyway, look here. I want to tell y'all this, Lord. Look here, man. I went to go see the Lord Moulton. I walked up all the flight of steps 1 row over. Had to walk back down, and I was out of breath and sweating when I saw him. That's the picture I sent you. but everybody, look here. When Fisher scored our winning goal, y'all go listen to Moton. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah, I haven't heard it.
I wish I was recording it last night because I had it. Shot on goal! Shot on goal! Oh, it was great.
Was it not?
I'm
It was
sure
great.
it's in the machine. He records everything.
Yeah, he has it. Now,
I'm
Steve
sure
has
it's in
it.
the machine.
Let me see if
Yeah.
it's in SoundCloud.
He might not have put it up there yet, but I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
And look here, was Wolverine Dan, was he there last night, or he get drunk over there at the Martin?
I don't know. I don't know if he made it to the game. I mean, you would think you would want to be at that game. I don't know. I'm looking at WZZN TV here, and I see a picture of Wolverine Dan and LSU Lynch together at the Iceplex. Yeah.
Well, no, that
was
we
the tickets.
Went and bought tickets. Like I said, Sunday they sold over 4,000 tickets.
Oh, is that what it was?
Grizz. Yeah, that was about 11:45 Sunday morning. Yeah, and I walked in. We're 12 deep. There's Wolverine Dan.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to hang out.
He must have been there then. He wouldn't have bought the tickets and not used them. You know, I'm sure he was there. They had 6,200. It says it was a sellout last night.
They have sold out so much.
But usually when you don't find out, when you don't find out till 4 days before the game that you're having a game, and your season ticket base, they get their shot at their tickets, and then everybody else, and it still sells out. That is so impressive. That's why these series generally aren't best of fives a lot of times, because the teams, other teams, they claim they lose money in the playoffs because they can't get the ticket sales in the playoffs. Not here. I mean, we the Havoc, man, they say they're playing a game. 6,200 are going to show up.
Hey, and look here, the soccer team, they were sitting right behind us.
Were they? Okay.
Yes, sir. They were. Look here, here. I broke my damn cowbell. That's how much. Look here. We scored. Thompson scored the first goal. Somebody got hit with the ball. Come on. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
But it came out of the cowbell. Yeah.
So look here. I paid a lot of money off Amazon for the cowbells, the commercial industrial strength with a handle. Okay, non-slip, and I broke it.
Yeah, apparently that didn't work out. But at least you have all the way till at least you got all the way till next season. Unless you're going to Peoria, you got all the way till next. Will there be any Havoc fans at the games in Peoria? That's going to be interesting to know.
Well, yes, they will be. And now look, is Moton not going up there to call the game?
He is. Yeah.
Yeah. That was breaking news the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have the games.
You may have been all drugged up and didn't hear that.
No, I heard that. Yeah. It came up in our meeting.
I'm going to end this. I'm going to end this. If we were to go fishing right now, what kind of bait would we need?
If I was going fishing right now, I would be using a plastic creature bait on a quarter-inch sinker and some sort of a rage tail or rage bug or something along those lines. That's what I'd be throwing.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's going to be a good tip for that Hooters girl, ain't it?
Yeah.
He shot on a goal! Shot on a goal! Thompson ties us! We're tied at 2!
That's the tying goal. I wonder what the winning goal sounded like. Why did he double dip on the shot on goal? It's a shot on goal! It's a shot on goal!
He did the same thing. I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
It's pretty good. Oh, he does that. He gets excited and goes with the double dipper on that. I think somebody just sent it to me.
Might have been Steve.
Wes said, I was there. It was the loudest I've ever heard the VBC. If they couldn't get their building up there in Peoria, except for just 2 games, and that's what I understand the problem was, is that they can only get the building for 2 games in Peoria, then, we come back here and play a couple more. Beat them like a rented mule. Hey, Plainsman Preston. Haven't heard from that guy in a minute. Preston, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
Me now.
What's going on?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, I'm out of practice.
You are out of practice. It's been a minute since you called the show. What's going on?
So who was that last caller?
That is LSU Lynch.
Well, Lynch, I don't think I've ever heard somebody use so many words to say so little.
Shots fired. There you go. Now LSU Lynch busts on everybody else, so now that's shots fired. LSU Lynch has turned his guns on Natty Danny. He's turned his guns on the Phillip. He's turned his gun on on others. So now he's taking a shot over the bow. We'll see how he reacts to that.
Does he want to bring it on?
Yeah, he'll bring it. I mean, he's not afraid to bring it. Yeah.
I welcome that.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, because I've asked you this in email, and what you provided me apparently is incorrect.
Possibly.
But your text hotline, I have learned the wonderful world of texting.
Yes.
Because I can now do so from the computer from which I make a living.
Yeah.
That said, what is your text hotline?
732 982 7469. Which, another way to remember it is 7329 TA Show. 7329 TA Show. It's that easy. 732-982-7469. I get 1 million of them every day. Not 1 million, but we get plenty.
You get 1,000,001.
I hope so. I like it. I remember I've gotten texts from you in the past. I don't know what happened to the number.
Well, I don't think they were texts. I think they were emails.
Oh, maybe it was email. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, anyway. All right. I'm hooked up. I'm good to go.
All right, good. That's good to hear your voice, man.
Hey, maybe I can get back in this deal.
I hope so. I hope so.
I know Rich is looking forward to it.
I would say it'd be great to have you critique the new callers, for sure. So.
Well, I do have a bit of a resume.
You do. I mean, you do.
I hope y'all are doing well.
All right. Appreciate you. You too.
This is the handle sewn away. Here's a breakaway opportunity. The Havoc with a chance here for Fisher. Shot on a goal! Shot on a goal! Robbie Fisher gives the Havoc a 1-goal lead.
So is that Steve? I've never heard Steve do a game. Is that Steve's thing? The shot on goal that he says twice? Is that a regular thing with him?
Yeah, Steve. I mean, I mean, I haven't heard the shot on goal this year that much, but I don't know if that was just a
card.
thing.
That might be his calling card. A shot on goal. I mean, maybe that's his calling card. I don't know. So there you go. That's what it sounded like last night over there on the Zone 5. And from what I understand, we should have those games over the air both days. So, I take that back. Saturday night when they win it all, there will be no game. There will be no game. There will be no game. On Sunday, there'll be no game. I'm just going to tell you that right now. By the way, Grizz, there has been some confusion, so we got to continue to let people know that 97.7-2, which is the home of the Trash Pandas on Talk Radio WZZN, we have to remind listeners that is not Zone 2. Don't get confused with that being Zone 2. I understand how you can be confused, but it is not Zone 2. All right? That's not Zone 2. All right? 97.7-2 is a HD over-the-air signal, the home of the Trash Pandas. And if you want to listen on an app or on a computer, all you got to do is go to talkradiowzzn.com or get the app for Talk Radio WZZN, and then you're good to go. It's that easy. All right. We also, by the way, need to hear from a few guys still on what they want to do. Shane Sean, Crimson Carl, Redneck Romeo, Phil the Blacksmith.
I just talked to Shane Sean. Shane Sean is going to do tickets and food. So I've got his information, so I'm good on that one.
So you're good on that one. So Shane Sean, I can cross off the list. Let's go to the lines. Badger Larry is up next. Badger Larry, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing great, Tommy. You need to tell Grizz just to chill out, relax, take a deep breath.
Take a deep
I've
breath.
been through this twice.
Yeah.
And I think it worked out pretty good both times.
Yeah.
Second time is still
you
to
were
come.
already but you were already established and rolling when it happened.
Yeah.
Plus, in the case of Jordan Love, very young kid that you put on the bench for 3 years. Aaron Rodgers was relatively young when he was put on the bench. This kid is already 24 years old. I mean, that's the rub here. I mean, that's part of the rub here is that he's already 24 years old, and they're still trying to. And look, the flip side is Kirk Cousins is not Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers either. So we don't know 100%. You know, people are acting like Kirk Cousins is the be-all to end-all, and he might. You know, we don't know coming off of Achilles at age 35.
Yeah, well, he's also getting up there, so he's only going to have a couple good years left. I mean, that's why I said when the Packers used first-round picks, everybody went crazy then on both those when they took Aaron Rodgers and when they took Love, and neither one of those quarterbacks liked it either. Just like Kirk Cousins didn't like it, But guess what? It works out pretty good to have a rookie sit on the bench for a couple of years and learn from somebody that's pretty good. So
you may as nice as it is to have Jordan Love in there right now, and it looks like I've already called it that the Packers will win the division this year. As nice as it is to have a guy like that, to be honest, 3 years ago, if you pick a wide receiver, you might have won another Super Bowl. I mean, you didn't help Aaron Rodgers. It turns out now to be it's good that you have the guy, but back then I still don't know that it was the right pick. I mean, you had Aaron Rodgers in his prime. You needed to help him out right then and there to make another run. It didn't help you to have Jordan Love on the bench for 2 years, while you had Aaron Rodgers still playing at a high level.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's worked out both times before, so when we get another Super Bowl with Love, we'll talk again about it. So
I guess. Yeah.
Did you like my picture I sent you of the Bears?
That was hilarious. I sent that to Grizz. Grizz, did you see that? I forwarded you the picture that Badger Larry sent me. I forwarded to you of our friend Caleb Williams.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
you might like that. Yeah.
All
right, man.
We're good.
All right. Have a good
job by you. I appreciate it. Give me Redneck Romeo here so that I can find out what he wants to do. Redneck Romeo, welcome to the show. Congratulations on your win in the Draftfecta. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great today.
All right.
I see. What day is the golf on?
It's on Monday, May the 13th.
Scratch that. It'd be baseball.
All right, so Redneck Romeo. All right, so what we need from you, Romeo, is as soon as we hang up with you, you got to call right back to talk to Grizz and give him your address and your email address, and we'll get you taken care of.
All right, I can do that.
Okay. What else is on your mind?
Tom, all these quarterbacks griping, or not all of them, Cousins or, Aaron Rodgers. I know like when Dallas Cowboys had Roger Staubach, Danny White.
Yeah.
Redskins had Sonny Jurgensen, Billy Kilmer. The Browns had Brian Sipe, Mike Phipps. Was there anything wrong with that system?
Well, in all of those cases, I mean, Brian Sipe was a low-round draft pick. Phipps was the first pick overall. Sipe was a low-round draft pick that was on the roster, turned out to be better. They didn't draft Brian Sipe. They didn't have we got all this, Mike Phipps is playing great, and they didn't, invest a ton in him, and then all of a sudden draft Brian Sipe. In the case of Jurgensen and Billy Kilmer, Jurgensen was the quarterback. They brought in Billy Kilmer to the Redskins. Billy Kilmer took and won them a Super Bowl. Jurgensen was on the bench, for most of the time that Billy Kilmer was there. Those were two veteran quarterbacks. And what was the other one you said?
Let's take the Steelers. Terry Bradshaw, Joe Gillis.
Yeah, same thing. Now with Terry
Henry.
Right, Terry Bradshaw. In the case of Terry Bradshaw, or in the case of Roger Staubach, you got Roger Staubach as your starting quarterback. Danny White, again, was not like you drafted Danny White in the first round. I mean, he was not a first rounder or anything else. He just happened to be the backup quarterback that took over. Now you had Craig Morton in there, and Craig Morton was kind of a meat and potatoes quarterback there, and they drafted Roger Staubach, but Staubach had to wait 5 years to play, and then when he came, eventually took over and wins them a Super Bowl. So I think this is a little different scenario because of the fact that you had a top 10 pick and you burned it on a quarterback when you just signed a $100 million quarterback.
Right.
So it's a little different. All right.
When they had the Orange Crest defense.
Yeah. Yeah, Morton there took the Broncos then to the Super Bowl, and they got beat by Staubach and the Cowboys. I appreciate the call, Redneck Romeo. Call back and give us that information so we can get you hooked up. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back with one more call next. Brandon will close us out on the other side. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash and the freezers free and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Electric cars are coming faster than you think, and that's why we're bringing SEMA Connect to Alabama.
Our team educates you and helps provide a long-term plan for your business. Where to put them, how to get them there, how to pay for them, tax incentives, service, and monitoring. We take care of everything.
Doing the right thing means bringing EV car chargers to Alabama. Let us help you with your EV charging plan.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. If you knew a local restaurant was featured on America's Best Restaurants on YouTube's Bring the Heat, would you not want to try it? Of course you would. So come on down to Lo Capone's and enjoy authentic Italian food and live entertainment daily. Everything is made fresh at Lo Capone's. Mama's secret lasagna recipe, the pizza dough, the sauces, all made fresh daily. And Lo Capone's bar is fully stocked to round out your dining experience. In Florence and now in Huntsville on University Drive. Come on down to Lo Capone's.
The weekend is officially underway as the Tennessee Smokies take on your Rocket City Trash Pandas. But that's not all, as the big old ballpark fair will be going on all weekend right outside the fences of Toyota Field. Get your tickets for the games and the fair now at tptix.com. That's tptix.com.
Let's rock it. From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Maybe we get an isolated shower across the Tennessee Valley, but it does look like the vast majority of us are going to stay dry. We drop into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy sky for your Saturday. A couple of isolated showers across the Tennessee Valley, but once again, temperatures climb into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low 60s through the overnight. A mostly sunny sky on Sunday. It looks like we're going to be dry Sunday afternoon. That's almost a guarantee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Anderson Ford. Visit Woody Anderson Ford's award-winning service department for routine checkups to keep your Ford or other brand in perfect working order. And if you have a bigger problem, their expert service technicians will quickly diagnose it and use state-of-the-art tools to resolve it. Services include preventative maintenance checks on belts and hoses and fluids and air conditioners and brake and tranny repair as well. Woody Anderson Ford also offers a mobile service where they'll come to you. Their convenient mobile service program includes oil changes and tire rotations or parts replacements such as windshield wipers and lights. And if you're only available on the weekend or the evening, the Quick Lane service is your one-stop shop to service brakes and tires and batteries. No matter the service your Ford needs, Woody Anderson Ford ensures quick, professional, and exceptional service. It's Woody Anderson Ford. All right. So LSU Lynch has responded to the Plainsman Preston. He said, tell that guy that I'm paying your show his reinstalled fee. So Lynch has paved the way, apparently, to get Plainsman Preston, who was one of the first callers 20 years ago. First week caller, anyway. If not first day, maybe, within the first few days of the show 20 years ago, the Plainsman Preston got in. All right. And he's been busy for a minute. We haven't heard from him a little bit. LSU Lynch says that he's paying the show for his reinstallment fee. So there you go. So we'll welcome the back and forth. We're always good for dog-on-dog crime. Always good for a little dog-on-dog crime. And by the way, Preston reminds me that Billy Kilmer never did win a Super Bowl with the Reds. He took him to the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 7, but never actually won a Super Bowl. So we get that. All right. Sorry, Brandon, left you hanging there. My bad, but next week we'll start this whole thing all over again. Although I only have a couple of shows with you next week. I got some other stuff I got to do later in the week. But we'll get it going on Monday. We'll have the entire draft to dissect and get into some other topics as well. I left a lot of meat on the bone today, I can tell you that. I had much more prep than what we got to today, but that's okay. Because when we come back, it'll be almost May, and we need this other stuff. Coming up next, it's the Paul Feinbaum Show. Right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.